to Women of South Bay. We are excited that you have joined us. We are all about interviewing women in the South Bay here who exemplify lifestyle, leadership, and legacy. I'm your co-host, Cathy Alessandra.
And I'm Bibi Goldstein, and we are here today at Mesh, and with the founder, Eunice Ong. Hi, Eunice.
Hi.
So, this is an amazing place. What was that moment? What was the thing that brought you to this to create Mesh?
8 years ago, after I had my first son, I went back to work right after maternity leave, and I thought that I could work remote some days and do it all, but I thought he's just a tiny human. He'll be fine. He doesn't need much, but as soon as I'd get on a call or something, then he's crying or he needs to be changed or
Right? It's like they know the minute we're trying.
And it got better, and then it got worse, and then I was looking for a place like this concept where I could take him and get some work done, but there wasn't anywhere truly kid-friendly. They would say they are, but they weren't. Like, I felt judged. Like, I shouldn't be with a baby in a workspace.
What an incredible feeling.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So judgment led you to this.
Well, I mean, a necessity of this space where I felt like comfortable that I could be with my family and still work.
It's always so fascinating to me, right? How we look at those things that we need in our life, right? And then we go and we create them, right?
Yeah.
And this Mesh, right here on PCH in the border of Torrance and Redondo, pretty much, right? You've got this amazing playroom and then this great working space, right? So how old is your child or children now?
So we have two sons. Samuel's 8 and Mateo 6, first and third grade.
Okay. So they're probably not here as much. But really creating a business around your own need.
Yeah, so Mateo, he was online until last week, or this past Monday. And so he would work in the playroom.
Oh, that's so great.
On his laptop, and I'd be out here on my laptop.
What a wonderful way to be able to work and still keep an eye on. Tell us about the name. Where does Mesh come from?
So Mesh is an acronym of our names. So there's Mateo, our 6-year-old, me, Eunice, Samuel, S, and then Henry, H, my husband.
Love it.
I love when people do that.
And then it meshed. So,
oh, how great is that?
And then
I love that.
I mean, it has a double meaning because this is a place to mesh, whether it's community, friends, family, you're meshing work, like integrating work and life and personal, and so it all kind of worked out.
I love that. Really inspiring, actually, for a woman entrepreneur, right? And this is a woman-owned business. I have to say the coffee is quite yummy. So
so is the tea,
right? And spending some time here. So we kind of hear why you started the business. So what is your background? Were you an entrepreneur prior to this, or
no? Quite risk averse, actually.
And she stepped in as an entrepreneur.
I love it.
It's still scary to this day, but I was an HR manager.
Okay.
So that's
very
all about mitigating risk. So I went the opposite route. So before opening this space 6 months ago, I started Mesh Kids 3 years ago. I don't know if you've heard about it, but
Tell us.
it's a children's play experience company.
Okay.
Totally mobile. That was my risk-averse thinking. Like, if we are mobile and I don't have a brick and mortar, there's less risk. Right? I don't lose as much if it doesn't work out. So we go to homes, venues, anywhere, and create these play experiences with play equipment, and it's catered toward babies and toddlers. we serve all ages, but it's catered toward babies and toddlers. And that was also out of a need that I saw, a hole that I saw as a parent. Like I would take the little ones to the park, and I thought, there's nothing, I don't feel safe. And then
Everything's metal.
right, and then we go to an indoor playground, and there are 9-year-olds and 5-year-olds with a 6-month, 9-month, 12-month-old, and nothing but anxiety. So we actually, sorry friends, we actually said no to a lot of birthday parties over the years because they'd be at indoor playgrounds, and I felt not safe, and also they're not the most sanitary. I talked to a lot of owners about their sanitation processes, and it's not up to like my standard as a parent, I guess. So, and it's hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money to constantly sanitize your play equipment. So I understand from a business perspective, but it's necessary to do. So
Does that business still exist?
Mesh Kids.
It does.
Yes.
Is that there's a van that's part of that?
Yes.
Is that you? Okay, I see that on PCH. Right?
Yep. Yes, that's our van, and we have a warehouse in Torrance. Most of our business is in LA, and we have a lot of wonderful clients that we serve over and over since we started, and that means everything to us. That there's that loyalty.
That's great.
They trust us. I mean, we're going into people's homes, so it's very intimate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, speaking of being inspired to do this, tell us who or what inspires you? What gets you out of bed every day and wants to do this?
The obvious answer to me is my children. They're the reason I started Mesh Kids, Mesh Space. I really don't, beyond that, there's everything else, but they're number one. So everything else is the community and like our family as a whole, and then all those that we employ, and we want to keep them on as much as we can, because throughout the pandemic, events stopped for a whole year, and that was, I quit my job, that was my sole income, and we kept on our team and just like found work for them to do, because they rely on us too, and so those things like serving others, serving communities, huge to me. But I was telling you, I need to learn more about coming back to the South Bay as an adult is very different. I grew up here, but knowing that there are so many opportunities that lie within, I'm really excited to learn about them.
Tell us about that. Tell. I know I got to hear part of this story, but I'm sure that it'll be interesting to all of our viewers. Is that you very, very rarely find the born and raised, right? And so you were raised here in the South Bay, correct? Mm-hmm. And so how did that whole part of your world end up?
So, born and raised here. Went to Arnold, Cali, South. Then ended up at Long Beach State, but lived here still. And then we moved to Orange County. My husband and I have been there for 12 years. We just moved to PV this past weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you just moved back to the
Yes,
South Bay.
yes.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
I had a wonderful childhood here, and I always wanted to bring my own kids and raise them here, but there was never a truly compelling enough reason to uproot the family, sell the house, move schools, and come here. But the pandemic, I guess, proved that it's time and it's okay to you can live anywhere and do whatever you want wherever you are and achieve whatever you need to achieve and not be stuck in a place out of like comfort or familiarity. So, and as long as I had been in Orange County, and as lovely as it is, it never felt like home. So.
Yeah, Orange County is definitely very different than here.
In our South Bay bubble, right?
It is.
What would would you say, since we talk about on the show South Bay Lifestyle, what do you think, what's one of your favorite parts about living in the South Bay, or maybe a favorite memory from growing up?
I don't have one favorite memory, but I spent a lot of time at the beach, and that's always really peaceful, and I just love being at the beach. But also, there was like Newport and everything, and all the beaches in Orange County, but just wasn't the same. And I have asked myself many times, like, can I just stay in Orange County? Can this just be home? It's nice. We have the beaches. We have everything, right?
Yeah.
But every time I would come back here, my folks still live in Torrance, there was just something that really tugged at my heart. And I think at the end of the day, it's the community. The folks here are the nicest, the kindest of anywhere I've traveled to, lived in. The people here are special.
I love hearing that, and we've been hearing that a lot.
Oh, really?
The idea of community, I think, is it's interesting, in the sense that once you're here in the South Bay, you kind of get ingrained in what's there, and even if you move away, there's still that part of you. Cathy's lived all over the world, and all over the United States as well too, back east and everything, and ended up back here, right? And I think that when you look at all of the path that you took along the way to get here, I'm curious, since we've been talking about all good things and all great things, I think that it's important for people to learn from things as well.
Absolutely.
What would you say is probably one of your, I don't want to say mistakes, but missteps or regrets that you might have had along the way in what brought you to this now?
In business?
Or in personal?
I guess I think on a personal level, it was not knowing, and it's a work in progress, but not knowing how to best balance everything between being a mother and a parent, a parent, and a wife, and a business owner, and everything else. I'm still learning.
I think that's a progress thing, right? I mean, my kids are in their 20s now, as is Bibi's, right? But I had a business when my kids were young, and I think it's learning that balance, learning that give and take, and it's
right.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's just as a working parent in general, I think it's hard. There's always some sort of guilt, like, at least for me, if I'm spending too much time with the kids, am I not putting enough into work, and vice versa.
Mommy guilt.
Yeah.
Mommy guilt is so real.
It is a real
Listen, ladies, mommy guilt, it exists, but it's what we bring on ourselves, right?
This is true. Yeah.
And it goes back to your original story about going into places and feeling judged, right? Mm-hmm. That idea that we continuously judge each other when it comes to, am I not spending enough time on my work? Am I not spending enough time on family? Do I watch too much Netflix? Do I there's so many things that you can say that about, right?
Right.
But I think that balance is always going to be something that we struggle with. I mean, we're a lot older than you, and we still struggle with balance.
But you used the word differently too earlier. You talked about meshed or integration, right? And I do think there is something to be said about that, as women, because we do wear so many hats. We're the mother, the spouse, the significant other, the taxi driver, the cook, the maid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, truly, right? And so and the business owner, the woman business owner, right? 6 months into this and how many years into the other, and how do you really find that integration between work life and home life so that you're giving what you can, but also filling yourself up at the same
Right.
time?
Yeah.
Well, and finding balance for yourself. I mean, the fact that there's
that
that you also are working alongside your husband.
Yeah.
So there's a whole other element
have an incredibly strong relationship with your significant other, do not go into business with each other.
Great
Take
advice.
heed.
It is very, very hard. It's very challenging. I would say it's safe to say we butt heads at least once a day about something that's business related. And it's primarily because we're very different people. He's my team manager in software development, so he's very operationally, analytically driven, numbers guy, as they say. I'm the opposite. I'm the creative, just kind of, I have shiny object syndrome, and that drives him nuts. He's like, focus.
And you have just begun.
But in business, it balances us out. It balances the business out, but it's hard from a relationship standpoint. And these are aspects I never really truly noticed about him prior to owning a business together, because I didn't have to see that about him.
Right.
Yeah, and we had our own work schedules, and then when we get together, it's more like quality time versus a lot of time. So,
Yeah, now you have to find individual quality time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
yet to come. Yeah.
So what would be, or who would be, someone that you would say made a great impact on your life?
Oh gosh. So many individuals. So are we talking personal level, business,
Whichever,
everything?
whatever comes to you first. I mean, we've heard all kinds of answers.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no right or wrong.
Okay. Well, from a personal level, I'm sure you get parents all the time, but they really have been they've been everything. They've guided me through everything. We've been through a lot as a family. My mom had leukemia. She almost passed. My brother had brain cancer. He did pass when he was 16. And so my dad, I was 12 when this all went down. And so my dad is trying to keep composure, trying to keep things in line, like trying to keep a normal life for me. But that's, as a parent now, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I hope I could. I hope I would be like as strong as my dad was, as strong as my mom is. But I don't know. I don't know if I have that in me. And I'm convinced my mom made it. Everyone said, say your goodbyes. It's going to be days at best. I'm convinced she's like, no, I'm a mom. I have to be there for my kids. Like my son almost passed. My daughter's young. I'm gonna push through. And I'm convinced that's how she made it. Like mind over matter, right?
Mind over matter, absolutely.
Yeah. So then when my mom finally was released from the hospital, my brother passed away within a month. And so it was like some sort of fate, right? Because if she had passed and my brother had passed, I don't know that my dad would have, that heartache, I don't think anyone can survive something like that. You know?
I don't think you know how strong you are until you're really faced with something that can take you to your knees.
It's true. Yeah. So, but that led us in a lot of different and great paths. It made us see, realize we can't just exist. Right. So my dad, he became a hospital chaplain. So day in and day out, he's interfacing with dying patients, and their families, and consoling them. And they're angry, they're sad, they're everything. They're like yelling at him. You know, you go through all these stages of
Absolutely, the emotions.
yeah, and but he's been there, so with compassion, he's able to understand and be there for them. And I think with that, it was kind of therapeutic, I believe, for him. And then he was also able to bring that home and like talk me through things and my mom through things.
Right.
So.
What an amazing individual. I mean, I don't even know your dad, and I'm inspired right now with all of this. And it sounds to me like he's, through his family, left a legacy just because it's molded who you are. What's the legacy that you hope to leave behind and create?
Gosh, my parents will be hard to beat, but I don't know if I know the answer to that yet. I just hope that, for now, I hope that something, my very small, very boutique space will inspire others to say it's okay to integrate my family into my work. It's okay to be a parent. Like, don't feel bad about being a parent and having children. We chose the life, right, to be parents and take care of these little humans, and why should we feel bad about it?
And you still want to take care of them when they're older.
Right.
It doesn't stop when they're just little humans.
Right.
I think it's fascinating too. I love the idea that, I mean, you're really giving other women permission to really step into that motherhood role that they really desire, right, but still be able to work and be able to integrate that for themselves. So that's an inspiration and
That's your legacy.
Yeah, definitely
That's your
leadership
legacy.
in the South Bay.
Thanks for saying that.
Absolutely. So I was just going to say, to wrap things up, if somebody wanted to come by, if they want to check out the space, if they want to grab a coffee, where would they find you? How would they find you? Why don't you share with our viewers a little bit?
Okay, we are there aren't a lot of new developments in South Redondo, so you probably know it. 1918 South PCH. We are on PCH and Prospect, between Bergeram and F45. Tons of parking in the garage, on PCH, free parking, and the coffee space is open to the general public. And the co-work lounge and play lounge is private, fee-based, but very reasonable because we want you to be here.
It is very reasonable. Very reasonable. And it's such a cute space. Such a cute space. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today and letting us and our viewers get to know you a little bit better. We're really excited to share your story. Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with me.
And thank you all for being here with us today on Women of the South Bay. We hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.